Hey, Blue Rockers, welcome to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. Tonight is Crypto Connie night. How are you guys doing? Hope you're having a good time. We've got some fun for tonight. I know a lot of people were looking forward to tonight, so that's good. We will have the Godfather of BitShares here tonight with us, and that will be Stan Larimer. Before that, I have a few announcements, though, for you. I know we have a lot of newbies here. Welcome to Blue Rock Talk. We have special things throughout the week. This is Earth's Most Interesting Conversations, and that includes people, places, and things. Woo, creepy things at that. You just never know. You just never know what we might be talking about. So I want to thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Please comment and please participate in the live chat and with the conversation too, because pretty much all of our nights are live, and we pretty much start at 10 p.m. Eastern. Some of the things, just so you guys can get involved, is Crypto Connie Tuesday. Now, we do this on Tuesdays. However, if anything breaking happens along the way with crypto or any of the subjects, we're going to do that. And we'll surprise you with a lot of neat things, too. All right? Wasted Wednesday, I'm thinking about doing that. That'll be the world of cannabis, which probably, by the way, will slip into the crypto world as well as into the signature Blue Rock Talk night as well. But I've had a lot of people send me information on that, so it sounds like it might be a pretty good night. Signature Thursday is when Blue Rock Talk first came on the air on Thursday. And so what we're doing is, I pretty much call it Signatures Thursday. That's where we do remote viewing and psychics and UFOs and aliens and all sorts of really cool, fun stuff like that. Far Out Thursday is sometimes what it's referred to. And then on Friday, Bigfoot Friday, that stands alone is what that means. And that every night is 10 p.m. Eastern. All right. Now on Sundays, we do something called Stan's Bible Lecture. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern. That is the Godfather of BitShares that you know. He does a course at like a Bible level, at a college level course, a Bible Sunday school class at a Bible level course. I did it again, at a college level course. I get a D on that. So because it's so hard to say, I thought we may call it Stan's Bitchin' Sunday. What do you guys think? We'll ask Stan when he comes in. I threw that out his way. If you hear the little giggle in the background, that's Stan. Now, I want to let you know this is kind of cool. We are soon to simulcast all over the place. So it'll be here on YouTube. This is the home base right here. But also at the same time, I'm going to be simulcasting on Facebook, my personal page, as well as 2 business pages, Connie Willis and also Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis, and then 2 groups, Crypto Connie and Connie Willis's Blue Rockers. All right. Also on Periscope and DLive. All right, so that's the plan of attack. That's coming soon. I'm working on that now. Also, I'm going to be starting a podcast. That podcast, of course, is Blue Rock Talk. So you can go over to, it might be up on iHeartMedia. I'm not sure. iHeartRadio, I'm not sure. But you can find it on Spreaker. All right, I've just uploaded enough where you could probably go and follow it. So it's at Blue Rock Talk on Spreaker. So yeah. Yeah, see, we've been working hard, right? But I would love for you to follow me on all of those. And especially Steemit, get over there, especially you crypto folks. You need to be on Steemit. You'll like that because that's, we talk about everything over there, but it's mainly crypto folk over there for sure. So while you're here, if you are new, please pass this on to a friend, get other people to subscribe and mash that like button, whoever's here right now. I would like for you to do that if you like it. And I think that's about it. I will be on Coast to Coast next weekend, the 14th, Saturday night, and it never fails. Whenever I plan something, that's when I'm asked to do Coast to Coast. And because, thank goodness, we're Premiere and we are also related with iHeartMedia, that means there's studios everywhere. So guess what? I get to do it from Salt Lake City. I'm excited. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun. So Okay. Well, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. No, let's go ahead and get into the show. We're going to bring on, our star of tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and give him a warm blue rocker welcome. It is Stan the Man Larimer. Hello, Stan. Woo!
Hey, Connie, how you doing? Boy, you're in rare form tonight. I'd better watch it.
In a good way, or what? What do you say?
Well, yeah, you're rocking, I guess. Blue rocking.
That's right. That's good. Well, so are you. Listen to you. You go. Changing our little names around. You don't want to be Connie, right? You don't want to be Crypto Connie.
I think people can figure that out.
You never know. We wear the same striped shirt, would they or not?
I don't know.
If I handed you off my glasses, would they or not? So what's going on? Oh, by the way, you gave us a very nice Easter service, I guess, or Easter lecture on Sunday. So thank you so much. Did we get in the way of all your Easter plans?
No, my wife just moved everything to later in the day, and we still had our family get together and
Excellent.
Lots of fun. So, yeah, that went off really good, and I'm glad I did it because, well, we had at my church like a double-sized group of people there, watching when I first went through it with my class, and then I was all warmed up for you guys as well.
Yeah, well, you did a great job. It was great to listen to because, that was like my sermon for the day. So that was cool. When my dad was alive, Easter was his big day, and we would always do an Easter sunrise service over at the this really wonderful, beautiful cemetery, which is where he is now. It's just ironic, all that stuff, isn't it? But it was good, and I'm sure he would have loved and was listening to you for sure.
And a week ago, we had a big major snowstorm here, dumped a foot of snow in the mountains here of Virginia, and that meant that only 7 people showed up for church, and I wasn't one of them. So this week we had Palm Sunday and Easter on the same day.
I see.
For it a little bit there. But that meant we had to bump a couple of my favorite songs in order to do that, but oh well.
You can go home and sing them yourself with the family or something, right?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, yeah, you got to do it somehow. So, it's interesting. I'm getting, hey there, Pat Konchak, how's it going? Just real quick, there's some people on the chat that, one, Nick R. Hey, you guys, by the way, and Crypto family. Nick R. says, why do you keep shilling BitShares? And fix, need to be something like Bitfinex. So, and then it's BitShares can be greatest, needs upgrades like Bitfinex. So what would you like to say just right off the bat so you can let people know how great we are in this situation of this live chat and how we really do participate a lot?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Why am I shilling BitShares? I've never really understood the word shilling. Evangelizing is what I would say. When you've got, I get told I'm shilling the Bible as well. Well, when you got good stuff, you want to share it. That's not unusual. So, yeah, we're talking about something that is built on a family of technologies that processes 2/3 of the industry's, the blockchain transactions. 2/3. Only 1/3 uses mining, and that's for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest are all crammed into that other 1/3. So I don't think it's necessarily bad to talk about all the potential of what the BitShares ecosystem and EOS, which is coming, what that means for the world. There's a lot to it, and we got so many neat products and stuff to talk about that I go around and try to let everybody know about it. So hope that doesn't offend anybody, but I'm sure there's, if you really think about it out there, the number of places where you can go get a dose of Ethereum pixie dust or Bitcoin pixie dust or whatever far exceeds where you can go to get this story. And so this is just my little fair and balanced alternative.
That's right. I know it's as I hear about a lot of the other coins or whatever is going on, you don't always get to find the person who's behind it or the people behind it. And that's what I like about this is they can learn all about the people behind it. Here they are. And you're out there a lot. I mean, Crypto Connie Tuesday, it's the Stan Larimer show, and there's other people that come on and there's other times that you come on and, so forth. but they can meet you, they know you, they can talk to you. You are right there for them to reach out to you. I think that means a lot. And you've been open about things. And in fact, someone earlier today on one of my Steemit articles had actually said, I want to pull up his name. I know I wrote it down. I know I did. Oh, and maybe he doesn't want me to. But anyway, they had said that they were thankful that I even asked the hard questions to you. And, you're okay with that. You respect that as well. Because I'm asking what everybody else is asking.
Yeah, I love the hard questions.
I know you do.
The hard questions. So yeah, come at me.
Yeah. So I like that. And some of the other coins, you just don't get that. So I think that's cool. And by the way, Nick R. and Crypto Family, that's, you can ask them about those questions. In fact, what do you think, if I can just throw that out? And maybe you don't know, but I don't know. Bitfinex, what do you think of them? Any thoughts?
Well, one of the things is I'm sort of like one of these idiot savants. I know everything about what's happening in the BitShares universe and don't pay any attention to those other kind of things.
That's why I was cautious.
Yeah. Well, you can come at me. I'll admit when I don't know something other than try to fake it. So, there are exchanges that are thinking about taking advantage of EOS technology. I think that's a great idea. I think that it may take them a while to get to where they're able to do things with it. And, we need all the exchanges we can get out there, because if we want to be successful as an industry, we need lots of on and off ramps, lots of ways to do things. Exchanges come and go. They get into trouble. Any of them can have that happen to them. And so if we only had one, or if we tried to get too competitive and stamp each other out, that'd be bad. But if we start getting a lot of decentralized exchanges, there's some interesting things that can happen, like shared order books, which gives you deeper market depth and more liquidity instead of having everything isolated in these narrow stovepipes. So that would be my ultimate vision, is to see all these exchanges decentralize themselves in such a way that we can see all the order books all at once, and therefore have great liquidity across the whole industry.
When you say we with EOS,
mm-hmm.
EOS. I only got EOS because I saw something with Dan in it, and I said, "Oh, he says EOS, and you say EOS." So when you say we, is BitShares totally a part of that?
Well, no. BitShares is its own thing. It's got its own community, and even right now we have multiple groups that are working on upgrades to the system. So there's a group of core developers, and there's another group that's working that I see a lot of what they're doing, and I guess I'll just call them the bench group. And so those two groups are, and of course, then there's another whole team located in the Philippines, another one in Thailand, and we've got them located in Slovenia, many different places around the world. People are contributing to the BitShares ecosystem. It'll ultimately depend on the voters to elect a group of witnesses that are the decision makers on what software gets run as the official thing. And so I would expect that group is going to be busy, because I think there's going to be a flood of new things that can be built in. And then, of course, the other neat thing about EOS technology is that we can have multiple interacting chains that can work together in different ways. And so it doesn't necessarily even have to come down to one committee making all the decisions. It can be, spread out, different functions made available in different ways. It's a brave new world of how to engineer the world's software. And this time it's the internet with money built right into it, so that everything can work together. That
sounds good. But that's where people have been asking me to get some sort of clarification. So, okay, we know your son, Dan Larimer, created BitShares and then Steemit, and now he's working on EOS. Mm-hmm. So, and they stand alone, as you say. However, at one point, BitShares and EOS are going to come together. But it's not really they're coming together. It's just that BitShares is going to be on EOS, or vice versa. That's where I'm just trying to get the clarification, where people ask me all the time.
Yeah, you're not going to get clarification because the technical team's working on it to keep up with Dan Larimer.
Okay.
And, his team has built, quite an amazing product, and it's going to be out there multiple ways to interact with it. And so the engineering teams looking at it have different say, we got to move the whole chain onto EOS. Others say, no, we got to stand off and interface with it with some sort of an interface protocol or a middle chain, if you will. Some people say, we don't need EOS. We can go forward with what we've got. It's better to have something specialized for what we're doing. And all of those ideas are interacting in our community, and I don't know which going to turn out. And even if I were to pick a team and say, that's the one, well, nobody listens to me anyway.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
So, I can sit back here and pontificate all I want, but ultimately it'll sort itself out in a decentralized way, and I wouldn't want to give anybody the false impression that I have any control over it other than, my good looks. But I do.
You and Dan look alike. Just the way it is.
Oh boy, you're going to really make him mad with that one. But
really, wow, really? That's not a bad thing. Come on.
Oh man, nobody wants to look like his dad.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right. Because girls, we don't want to look like our moms either. I guess we don't want to look like our dads either. But I guess that's, a lot of people ask, well, are they together? Are they related? Well, isn't BitShares 3 going to be EOS? So that's where it's a constant. Are they together? Are they not together? I just get that a lot.
In terms of the business aspects, everything is completely decentralized. I have no insight into what he's doing. He doesn't really pay much attention to what I'm doing with our own agendas, but he fought very hard to be able to make EOS an open source thing that other people could adopt, and he occasionally does stop by in the BitShares community to drop a cryptic hint, like, you guys ought to do this or ought to do that. Excellent. And then he's gone. And everybody's there saying, well, what does that mean? So, it's out there, but I think he worked very hard to have BitShares become independent of force, and that includes him. And so whatever happens is up to the community. And my job right now is basically just to call people's attention to all the capabilities, more adoption. And that in itself will grow the number of users and grow the demand for the products and services on there, which will make more money available in the reserve fund that people can vote to sponsor new growth, and everything in the ecosystem grows towards the ultimate vision we have of a new world financial system that is a level playing field with honest money.
Well, speaking of all that, you talked about and you touched on about 10 things that I want to talk to you about. So let me just pick one. I guess next week is a big deal, the Equity ICO conference.
Yeah, equityico.io. Only whether they're sold out right now, but our team, and once again, it's not just me. We've got a decentralized team of engineers I talked about, but we got a decentralized team of business developers. And I work with a really powerhouse group of guys who have put together a comprehensive architecture for how to bring value to the BitShares ecosystem by encouraging outside companies to adopt it. So most of our time is not even thinking about what's going on inside the BitShares blockchain. We're thinking about, it's like plutonium. What are all the cool things I can do with it? And so we're getting together and basically doing an entire conference with a lot of high net worth individuals coming. We've invited them so we can do one big power. There'll be, quite a lot of investment opportunities that we'll be able to at this conference, and we'll be given the comprehensive end-to-end tour. I like to envision this pyramid. At the very bottom is infrastructure, and you might think of the lowest level of infrastructure as the operating system. That would be EOS. Sitting above that is the actual platform like BitShares. Sitting on top of that would be all the different types of assets and smart contract hard-coded assets that sit on top of that. On external exchanges plugging in the financial system, then up on top of that is other plug-in functions. And then you start getting to, at the very pinnacle, that are revolutionary, like the hero and so we're going to paint that whole picture of how to architect the entire universe and what to look at when you're investing at any of those areas. So it'll be a really interesting thing. I do a keynote speech Friday afternoon, and then we have several other members from my team, Michael Taggart and Morgan Chapman will be in there talking about different parts of that pyramid I just described. And we'll be on a panel on Saturday morning. So we got lots of little places where we participate in that conference, plus a lot of partners that they're there to talk to all the investors too, but they're also already decided they want to be our partners. It's amazing. This group of guys I work with, I don't think we've lost one yet. We sit down with any group of people and we talk about what comes to the table with all of the BitShares.
Wow. Excellent.
And they always say, I want to do a joint venture. We got so many joint ventures we can't shake a stick at them right now. So the hardest thing is just, it's like spinning plates. I've got to spend my whole day running around on the stage, keeping the plates spinning, and don't get to spend much time on any one thing. And that's unfortunate because everybody thinks that they get me 100% of the time. So it keeps me a little hopping.
That's true. That's true. Even now it's like that. I mean, I know you have things sitting around I know they're on your list. You got a list? He's got a list bigger than Santa's list. I'm telling you, holy cow. And everybody's waiting for it. Come on, Christmas. Come on, Christmas. So when people do say, hey, it's hard to do, but it's coming. All your stuff is coming. I mean, this is going to be a big deal for this weekend with a lot of these joint ventures you're talking about signing off and moving forward. And that means money funneling in and people getting right in there and fixing the little hard things that you're talking about, or that other people are talking about, that you're going to make it easy, right? It's going to be easy to get in there and get the BitShares and exchange them and do all that stuff, right?
The other, very much so.
Excellent.
Oh, there's some stuff right now.
Thank you, sir. We cannot wait, sir.
Well, the Bench Project, these gorgeous eye candy screen mock-ups for their new vision of what a new BitShares user interface would look like. And while the other one is perfectly fine and will still be there for people, if you like your wallet, you can keep your wallet. But as far as this new thing, it's one of the things I think we've all been waiting for a long time in terms of just absolutely newly thought out interface, the same BitShares blockchain, but it'll build on top of that. And so that'll be something that you may have seen a few of them. Some people may have seen a few of them. They've leaked out a little bit, but I understand that the team is about to go from screen mock-ups to actually cutting code today. And so we'll see how long that is. But stuff is going to be coming out that'll make it a whole new – people take a whole new look at what BitShares is, and may be a little bit eye-watering, I think, in certain places.
Oh, well, I think that's great. I'm looking forward to that. And I got to tell you, I know you don't watch TV, and I know a lot of the people out there that are into the crypto world and do all the work, they don't watch TV. However, those of you that do and you get to see Silicon Valley, that's exactly what you guys live on a daily basis. The Star is trying to make a decentralized internet, and it's just hilarious from there. I hope you get to see it sometime because I think you'll go, oh, I know somebody like that. I know somebody like that. I know somebody like that. It's just hilarious. Just a great show. It started up again the other day, so it's still fresh in my mind. Anybody else out there like Silicon Valley, please let me know what you think of it. I think it's fantastic. Okay, so a couple other things you brought up that I want to talk about, and so do people here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk a little bit more about the bench. The bench.
That's been done behind the scenes.
Oh.
The team asked me, hey, go ahead and say something about it. And I said, guys, you just sworn me to secrecy, and now you want me to go on Connie and tell you all about it. So, to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not.
Well, I'll tell you who asked about it. Let me say who asked about it, because maybe that might be whoever it is. Let's see. Let me see. I don't know if you know at Let Me See on Steemit, Reputation 40. I like to say that because you work hard for that reputation. Also, okay, Pat, did you bring up that, Pat? No, Pat was bringing up something else. Okay. Well, that was the one person who was bringing it up. It's been mentioned as well. It's up to you.
In fact, everything I've said so far about that new user interface is part of that bench team's project.
Okay.
It's a lot more to it than that. That team is looking at, and it's some famous names from around our community that are working on it. Not everybody, because there's multiple groups. I named maybe 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
That are doing things everywhere. And, I'm not trying to slight one for the other, but this particular group is looking at EOS interfaces and new, better on and off ramp technology and better user interfaces. They got a lot of stuff on their plate, and I think that there'll be a lot of folks out at that conference in Utah that will be excited to hear about some of that stuff. I will talk to them about it. And of course, there's always the possibility I'll run into CRYPTO CONNIE out there. And I'll leak something, but
I'll try to pull it out of them, you guys. Yeah, I'll be out there. That's gonna be great, and I will try to pull out whatever we'll get exclusives the entire time we're out there. So yeah, everything starts Friday, I guess, but I'm gonna try to get out a little early. Let me just close, staying off for a minute, you guys. I'm gonna try to get out a little early because not too far away from the event is the Quintric Vault. So shh, don't tell him.
Yes, a different form of Tales from the Crypt. We will undoubtedly get CRYPTO Connie down in the vault.
Just make sure I come back out. That'll be great. So we're going to go see the vault, right? We get to go see the vault, right? We're going to go, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to do it. The vault is, like going into the pyramids. You got to, go down these catacombs to get to the actual vault. And there's not a lot of space there. So it might be like buy at a state funeral to get a peek into it, but it depends on how many people are there. But because CRYPTO Connie will be there with her camera, I'm pretty sure that, we'll make sure that she gets the inside scoop as best we can.
I'd love to do that live. It's so deep. It probably wouldn't even allow Wi-Fi down there. So I have to tape that one. Yeah,
and whatever it is, I wouldn't be able to describe their security measures anyway to you, even if I knew them.
Yeah. It's true. Sorry.
We can try and see. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be great, though. I mean, we'll actually be able to look in. I mean, Well,
I haven't seen inside the vault. I've just seen the outer doors.
Yeah.
And
I want to see it.
At the time, I couldn't go past a certain imaginary point, or I'd set off the alarms. But I got that far anyway. And
okay, all right, that's going to be fun. But yeah, I get to go out there, going to see the vault, going to check out the area. I'll let you guys see where they are, where the event is, and show you, the outside and what's going on. I'll get some of the little after-hour stuff where they're, enjoying their ginger ales. What are they called? What were they called? Will Rogers and sarsaparillas. Is that what you say? I remember Roy Rogers and something else. There was another one.
Dale Evans?
Well, they are related, but it was another little drink without the...
Shirley Temple.
Yeah, Shirley Temple's.
Yeah.
One had ginger ale and cherry juice, and the other one had Coke and cherry juice, correct? I think that was it.
I have no idea.
You don't know. You've never had it without the alcohol. Okay, all right. No, you're a wine guy, so.
Okay.
But that'll be fun. We'll get, I'll see what all I can get for everybody to see and what goes on with EquityICO.io if you do not get to make it out there. Some of the people I know that are going out, as we've talked about before, is little Sean Worthington of Cloud Coin, yay, and his buddy. That'll be fun too. What was it, Acapulco that he was at before broadcasting live, and you were at the other thing broadcasting live, where you had your suit on, looking dapper.
Oh yeah, down in Austin.
Yeah. So now I get to visit, so that'll be good, and we'll all be out there, so that'll be fun. So thank you for that. That'll be fun. So. Did you have something to say?
Oh, yeah, it was actually Dallas at the Bitcoin Super Conference, I think is what.
Okay. Yep. That was fun. Yeah, Michael was with you. You were waiting on Michael to come. He was late. You said he was fixing his hair.
Oh, no, that was yet a different thing in Austin. Okay. Yeah, and that was the Conscious Media Festival.
Okay.
So,
that's right. Another one. Yeah, you went in behind the scenes there, right?
Yeah, Texas and Utah keep coming up over and over again. I don't know why.
Interesting places. By the way, what's an update on Jared Rice?
Well, he's being extremely productive, huge, great attitude. I think he's having some success in his dealings with his particular case. One by one, the different accusations made against him are being dispensed with, and so that he's going to emerge as a hero and a celebrity out of all this when it's all said and done. So I consider him an abject lesson about how people should not be treated whenever they're out there doing their best to do something creative and world-changing and everything, and that the whole idea that we should presume innocence as opposed to presume that they are evil, because the way that people seem to get treated by the people with the hammers, that if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And it's part of my new mission, among my many other missions, is to appeal for a little compassion from our authorities when they come in and try to deal with something. I know that a lot of times they're in the habit of going from case to case to case, and they do get into the habit of presuming something is guilty. And therefore, they treat those people as if they were guilty, and in the process wind up violating their constitutional rights. So somebody has to speak up for that. And I know that most of the people out there in the different companies in the world are reluctant to do that. They don't want to get themselves in trouble themselves or targeted themselves. But, the mere worried about being targeted for speaking their mind shows us there's a problem, right?
True.
And so somebody's got to do it. So that's what I'm doing.
Sorry. I got you. And I'm glad about that. Man, she scared me to death. Hey, Penny, come on, girl. Everybody knows it's little Penny girl. Penny. I'm sure what happened was Nerner woke up or stood up, and there you go. Thank you, Penny. She's protecting us. Penny, come on, girl. Sorry. That's the Blue Rock Talk mascot. Well, I thought you were about to say it, so I'll just lead you into it. You have this campaign that you're talking about, basically defend the blockchain, and you did a couple articles on that, by the way, with Steemit, and you were talking about what it. So tell us what it is, as well as the fact that you were saying, can a Christian defend the blockchain? So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll start with that since you brought it up.
Okay.
One of the things that Christians are taught is that we should obey the governing authorities, for all authority is from God, and the powers that be are appointed by God. Okay? So we can't go along and arbitrarily reject those in authority. They're there for some reason. It doesn't mean that they're always right. I mean, one of the things the Bible does say is Nebuchadnezzar, back in the days of 500 or 600 BC, at the time the Israelites were basically hauled off into exile in Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar was called a servant of God, but he's certainly not a godly guy. But he was appointed to the job of disciplining Israel for all of their failings. And the people in Israel were told, go along into captivity, take your punishment with grace. Okay. So there's many other places where during the time when evil emperors like Nero were in charge, the various apostles were saying, you go to with those beliefs, deal with bad behavior on the part of government authorities. We see what the opinion of guys like Thomas Jefferson were, right? Where such authority becomes destructive to the purpose of which they were appointed, it's the right of the people to alter or abolish it. And so,
Did you leave your phone on? It's like chewing gum in the classroom. You know what I'm saying?
That's really bad.
That really is bad.
Okay, well, I'm killing it now.
We all get one. We all get one.
I'm doing this dramatic rendition of Thomas Jefferson.
I know.
A phone call comes in and destroys the whole mystique of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Now, the point is that the people that wrote the Constitution, gave us mechanisms by which we can lawfully lobby to change the way. And that one of the most important things there is free speech, and part of free speech is the ability to fundraise in order to get your message out. And so I decided that it's probably time went out and people that are being investigated. Our industry is right now being, sprayed with gun. The way I describe it, I think something like 80 different companies are in some form of investigation. The idea of this type of activity, which is basically under the auspices of we're going to protect the people, the customers. Okay, but if you come into an industry and just with a brute force take and drive half of the value out of the industry by creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt everywhere, are you really protecting the investors in that industry? You just caused them to lose half their value, and you did it by acting first before you've even agreed among yourselves, the different regulatory agencies, as to what it is and who has jurisdiction. There are, the SEC says, Chairman recently said, I haven't seen anything yet that's not a security. And at the same exact time, the CFTC is saying, they're all commodities. And then you have a New York judge, circuit judge, ruling the same way. You got the IRS saying that it's property, which agrees with some of the states like Wyoming and Utah. And Utah even has a contention that some of it hundreds of companies who were building their entire strategy on that. They'd hired people. They were going through a process of raising funds and getting support, only to find the rug pulled out from under them and the door slammed shut for what may be an entire year. That has real consequences. You can't argue that you're protecting people when you are absolutely damaging a whole lot of people in the process. So part of what I want to do is to get the place where we can have some good, high-quality, knowledgeable lobbying going on, offering to work with those different authorities. I mean, I would love to be able to talk with them and explain to them how they can adopt the remarkable thought that it's possible that different tokens fall into different jurisdictions. And I'm not saying that if a token is a bona fide security that it shouldn't be regulated as a security. I mean, if a row of orange trees is a security, then a token on a blockchain can be a security. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. All right. But that kind of thing does not require a ham-fisted takedown of a broad swath of the industry in some sort of a preemptive need to act first. I mean, the medical profession has this rule that says, first, do no harm. Okay. There's plenty of things that the government already has, tools to take down fraud. Okay. We have laws against fraud already. If there's fraud out there, then take down the ones that are doing fraud. Taking down and shutting down with some kind of a blanket order is the kind of thing I hate to see happen. And, I can do that kind of thing by simply writing articles and speaking in forums like this about it. That's not the case. But there's another case that concerns me greatly, and that's the little guy. Think of we look up to these guys. I mean, clear back from the days of Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, Eli Whitney, these guys who were inventors and were coming up with really cool ideas and, prolific in what they were doing, to come along and say, hey, I'm going to seize all of the assets you've brought together. I'm going to take your software that you've been developing for a year away from you. I'm going to deny you the right to have access to it. I'm going to seize all your computers and everything you've got, and I'm going to take that all away from you, and I'm going to even take your personal assets and leave you defenseless, where you can't even hire an ordinary lawyer, much less the kind of lawyer that you really need to defend yourself from such charges. And I've seen that kind of thing happen recently in more than one case, where it seems like it's already bad enough that the government has an unlimited amount of money that they can spend, and any individual has very limited resources, but let's say he's got enough to at least defend himself for a little while, and then you come along and seize that and say, there, you are now in fact, we've sealed you off from everybody else who might support you, and if somebody gives you any more money, we're going to seize that too. Maybe we'll let you have a little bit to pay for food, but there's homeless shelters out there that you can go to if you have to, until we're done determining whether you're innocent or not. And in this case here, we're seeing that it turns out that a particular individual is, as near as I can tell from my due diligence, pretty darn well innocent. Now, I'm sure there's something you can arguing about whether a particular activity fits into, is he was working on a security or not. Well, we can have a civilized argument about that, and he was preparing to have a civilized argument about that. He had hired a legal team. They were going to go in and make the case of why what he was doing was perfectly fine. And the whole idea of calling himself a bank, well, I don't see anybody shutting down piggy bank manufacturers, and he was writing software for cell phones that turn the cell phone into your own personal digital piggy bank, and he can't call it a bank. These kind of things were used as the reason to come in and take hundreds of millions of dollars away from people who were supporting that project and put it on ice. I don't know how long it'll be before they see it, but that was real damage to real people, okay? And it turned out that complaints going away. One of the other interesting things I've learned is that the person who was going to sell this, Jared, the bank, turned out that person was defrauding Jared. Jared thought he was buying a bank. The guy that was selling it to him has now recently been arrested for fraudulently offering that. Well, what a surprise. You killed Jared's company because somebody was defrauding him. And that, to me, is the kind of thing that we need to reform the system so that we don't get that kind of thing happening, okay? And most importantly, if the tactics are that you're going to take a company that's raised a lot away from it so it can't even make the case it was planning to make to the government in a civilized way, and do all that damage and then find, oops, most of these charges weren't true. Well, I have very limited data collecting capability myself, and I'm able to see it clearly. Most of the people in our community now see very clearly that this guy was a very talented software developer and capable of doing great things, and there was no fraud whatsoever in what was going on. The most that you could say is that he didn't make it clear which was his vision and which was actually done. And you can argue about that, but every engineer out there gets excited about talking about his vision. And, when you're sitting there doing informal chats stuff, it's easy to blur the lines between what you've got done and what you're working on and what you're going to have done and when you're going to have done it. And to use that as the excuse or to call something like that fraud is, to me, stretching the purpose of the law clear out of shape. So why am I talking about all that? Well, defendtheblockchain.com is to raise some funding so that we can come to the rescue of guys who, get cut out of the pack and isolated by the current methods that are being used by the authorities. All of his assets stolen and left to stand on his own. He's going to almost certainly get convicted, even if he's mostly innocent, like I believe in this particular case. How can that be fair? How can that be justice? to do that. So we want to raise money for other people who think like we do, so that when we find somebody who seems to be, obviously we're not interested in supporting blatant lawbreakers, but we see a case like this where a person seems to be unfairly attacked. We want to be able to give some funding so he can hire a lawyer and get proper defense. Until such time as we can change the rules. And those rules and powers that have been given to our government authorities are there for a good reason. Sometimes they have to come up against really bad people, and they need an FBI SWAT team or something to do with it. But when that, in the cases where you're going to wake up a small software team in a farmhouse in the middle of the night at gunpoint, that is the kind of thing that needs reform, and needs reform bad. Well, who's going to do that? That costs money to have a legal team support that. And how many people are in jail right now because they got isolated and cut off from any fund and any support, and they got their names smeared all over the place, so everybody thinks they're guilty already, and then now they're in jail because they had to plead guilty to something, because otherwise that powerful force would say, well, if you don't plead guilty to this little charge, we're going to, come at you with everything. And so the number of horror stories I've heard about people who are in jail because they didn't have the resources to defend themselves and had to plead guilty to some lesser charge just to avoid spending the rest of their life in jail. Definite need for reform, but that reform. And if people would like to see that type of thing done, then this would be the place where you put your money where your mouth is. And I'm willing to do the risky thing of standing up and saying this needs to be done. Now I'm hoping other people will do the right thing and support it, so that we can maybe get some reform going on. That's the ultimate goal here, is to raise awareness that this stuff shouldn't be done. It's un-American, unconstitutional, and the fact that those powers are there needs more checks and balances on them so they don't get used to have been in this case.
Is that defendtheblockchain.com or defendingtheblockchain.com?
Defendtheblockchain.com.
Okay, so is it possible that this could be one of those billion-dollar hero campaigns?
Well, yeah. I mean,
that'd be all the money you would need if you did that. At the very least,
yeah. If it's not there, once again, everything we do is decentralized, and you can put up on the Billion Hero Campaign website, if it's not there already, a reference to this cause. You could actually say one of the causes that could win the $300 million prize should be, and point it to defendtheblockchain.com.
There you go.
And then even if you don't have any money to donate, you can go in there and vote for it to be one of the prize winners.
Yeah. It's perfect for it. It's perfect for what you're talking about, and then the money would come. It'd be gigantic money.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you. It's your idea. I'm just putting your ideas together. You need somebody to do it. You have too many ideas in your head. You're not even connecting them right now because you got so much going on. I'm serious, you guys. He really does. He is working hard. He is. Constant. Do you sleep?
Well, yes, I do. That's one thing I insist on doing, and I do it very well.
Good for you. Okay. But it is true. I know you're very, very busy, and, but that's perfect. As much as you talk about that $1 billion hero campaign, here you go. You have it. You've got it right there. That would help so many people.
And that's a very good thing to do. That doesn't help out with the current people at risk, right? Because it'll take a while before that prize is awarded. It might be years.
You never know.
So it just depends on how everything we're doing kicks off and when that prize gets big enough to hand out. But in the meantime, to the extent that people are able to chip in to help pay the legal bills that are mounting up, and remember, without you always heard on Perry Mason or so on, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you.
Right.
But one little appointed lawyer who doesn't understand any of this kind of stuff, going up against the unlimited resources the U.S. government.
That's true.
It's just not a fair trial. It's as simple as that. It's not a fair trial, folks. Whenever they can take a person and put him under such a situation.
Well, that's when someone that is an attorney that does know that area needs to step in. Let them say, you know what, I'm going to take this case because A, they know what they're doing. B, they, can handle it correctly and want to. And then they'll be in the record books as well, just like, which will help them get the next case that they need, with a, bigger bill tied to their name at that point, just like they did with all the bigger, O.J. Simpsons and the, all the other court trials along the way, Casey Anthony, all that stuff.
Yeah, you can go meet the wonderful lawyers that have stepped up to take Jared's case.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, they have been very patient.
Excellent.
The bills far exceed what they've been paid so far.
Excellent.
We've been able some money so far for them, $200K, and that's been enough to keep them on the job. But that's not nearly enough to go after it. Now, maybe as the case seems to be falling apart, and the most serious charges of bank fraud and stuff like that are long gone, and much of the other things that were just made up and scraped off the internet and thrown into a complaint, most of which didn't even have the right people in it. The people with records from some other person with the same name. The way that was done was just we'll see, but right now, I think if all goes well, and if there's any justice in this world, this case will be quick. But if it's not, we need to be there ready to continue, because we certainly don't want this kind of behavior to be encouraged as we go along.
Well, let him know he's always welcome back here. It was great to have him on a long time ago. Before all this happened, then it was great to have him on Coast to Coast the night it did happen. And, I had talked to the people of Coast beforehand. I said, I think we're about to make some history tonight, which Coast makes a ton of history, but that was, we'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
He's right now he's, trying to stay out of trouble, not say anything, get himself in further trouble, and doing what he loves best, which is writing amazing new code. And so let's let him enjoy that. But think about this. He had to go get permission to work. Okay, that there was a period of time when he was even denied the opportunity to go work, and then I guess they decided that was a little bit too far. Work, and that's been great for his sanity, because that's what he likes to do most. And so I was glad to see it that he's able to just when he's not being hauled in to answer a question somewhere, he's sitting there enjoying his sarsaparilla or whatever he does to keep himself awake while he's coding all night long. But that's what he does.
Sure, he's got to watch that too. You're watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie Tuesday, along with the Godfather of BitShares, Stan Larimer. We were just talking about Jared Rice of Arise Bank, and we've been talking about defending the blockchain, and also EquityICO.io. That's going to be in Salt Lake City next week. So a lot of stuff going on in the chat. Let me just see if we can catch up a little bit here. It is a live Q&A, and we do this on Tuesdays. And make sure you join both of us on Steemit, because he puts a lot of articles in there, and I put a lot of articles about him putting articles in there. So make sure you get me on that one too. If you can't find it through him, you'll find it through me about him. Let's see. So somebody had said, Miss Cavs fan said that they heard you, I guess, on Beyond Bitcoin, and said it was a very good discussion. So giving you a compliment.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They moved it to Saturday and changed at the same time from Mumble to Discord or whatever it is that they're using. And that was just a little bit too hard for this old guy to assimilate. But in one of the Telegram channels, you don't believe how many different things we are to keep track.
Yes.
Hours a day just trying to keep track of all.
Yes.
It just happened to come across my screen and with a link. I said, oh, that's the link to the Mumble. It's about to start. Or it's not Mumble anymore. But yeah, I clicked on it, and boom, it took me in there. And then this old guy had to hunt around to find what button to push to get the audio. but I overcame all those immense hurdles.
Yes.
And was there, and somebody happened to notice that I was there and gave me a chance to talk. So
excellent.
That worked.
Excellent. Well, you sure are right about that. Telegram, and I didn't know you could do something in Discord like that. I guess so. I mean, I guess that's something else I need to add to the simulcast. Let me know when a new one comes up. Holy cow. Wow. And Busy is also another Steemit, or it is associated with Steemit? What is Busy to Steemit? Do you have a clue?
I haven't heard of Busy before. Oh. See how out of a touch I am?
Okay. I know it's somehow part of Steemit, and I actually, you know how you have, if you have Steemit, and then you put an article on Steemit, like if it's a video, you can also put it on DTube. And if it was live, you could have it on DLive if you even start it there and have it on all of them. So then I saw Busy, and I was like, oh, do I add it to Busy too? The same video that I did, dispersing videos everywhere. That's what you do, right? And I kind of felt like I might have double dipped. So that's why I want to know. If anybody knows about Busy, let me know. But it is a part of Steemit in some way. So Dolphin Oatmeal says, Stan said at the end of the last show that EOS has an active project in Puerto Rico. I will be in Puerto Rico next week. How would I go about making contact with individuals involved?
I'd start out, I guess, by going to the EOS Telegram channel and just pinging in there. That whole community, I don't go there because, quite frankly, it's too active for me. It scrolls by, to where it's a blur with people posting.
Yes.
And I get behind by tens of in there, so I gave up on trying to follow it. But, go in there, and because things are going by so fast, you might have to ask 2 or 3 times. And, of course, you could probably go to block.one and, find out from them what all they're doing, or probably on their website, there's probably a big thing about it. But, all I heard was that they had a team located down there and doing some good things in that particular territory.
And what is Telegram? Telegram.com, or what is?
Yeah.
Is it a .com?
I'm not sure whether it's a .com or not, but it's, it's another forum, like Reddit or something else like that. People go there in different chat rooms and so on. Yeah. But I think if you Google Telegram, you'll probably find it. Yeah,
you'll see like BitShares and then all the different ones. All the different ones are in there. So you got some things. Some things are just something to say. Crypto Family said got to be more user-friendly for mainstream adoption. This was a while back in the conversation. You had gone off for a while, so that was great. So the chat kept going there. Stan, this is from Taskmaster, who is, he said he was a fan of mine, or I guess a lover of mine, or something like that. But he actually did a typo earlier today. He says, I am not a fan, or I'm not a groupie of Connie, or Crypto Connie, or something like that. And I went, you're not. He went, no, typo. So that was cute. So at Taskmaster, Master is saying, Stan, do you envision companies X Tesla, or would it be EX Tesla, or Apple, selling their stock directly on a platform like BitShares?
It's entirely possible. I don't think that's going to happen early. I think what you might see is literally adoption of something like BitShares or EOS by NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. Maybe. The thing about it is that those particular organizations like their high-frequency trading. And a lot of people like to, get located right next to those facilities so that they can get the shortest amount of time and jump in front of somebody opportunity before the next guy a millisecond later. And no matter how fast we get, when you're trying to do a decentralized system spanning the planet, the speed of light gets in the way. And so I personally think they should cut out that high frequency trading. That's giving people with a lot of money an unfair advantage. Neat thing about decentralized system is everybody on that
I like that.
niche for decentralized exchanges, people can get more honest, fair trades. Yeah. And if that catches on, then, enough people will say, I'm not going to go compete in that rigged environment on Wall Street. I'm going to go someplace where I have a level playing field to do my trading. If enough people do that, Apple will move there, I would bet. But,
Now, Miss Cavs fan says that Apple already sells on BitShares, as well as Google, Amazon, and a few other big tech companies.
Well, I can't keep track of them all. I'm amazed if they do, but if they do, that's awesome.
Bring it on, Miss Cavs fan. Let us know where to go. Chris Patterson. Hello, Connie. Ask if he thinks BitShares will go up in price or EOS. We all hope. There's hope.
Yeah. Well, that would be giving financial advice. And boy, that's something I'm not going to touch.
But is that even financial advice just to say, yeah, we plan for it to go up? Because isn't that the plan? Is that still where you would get in trouble?
Once again, isn't this awful that we find ourselves having to limit our free speech? So I can't tell you what I really think because the rules are out there and could be used and twisted in order to get somebody like this in trouble. Okay. Once again, it's not right. It's not American that we should be in a position where I have to guard my every word for fear that, the authorities will suddenly take exception to something I say.
It's so crazy because your whole plan is to make it go up. That's why you do what you do to make it go up.
Everybody in every company out there is trying to do the best they can to grow their company, have it increase in value because they've given shares in their company to their employees and everybody else. So everybody's incentivized to grow the thing, and yet you can't go out there and talk about it in any kind of way. And yet government-run, state-run lotteries are able to go out and tell everybody about the 70 million or whatever, and advertise the heck out of that prize. And the chances of losing there are 99.99%. Yet that's legal, and yet I can't sit here and talk about the potential of a particular product. And
people are just doing their due diligence of studying you and going, hey, let's see what Stan's got to say. Let's see, is he doing a lot? Is he working it hard? Oh, good. Then, I want to invest there because I can see, how hard he's working over here and what he's putting into it. And can't do that? I mean.
Well, I probably could because I'm not involved. I'm not selling those things. I'm encouraging people to build on top of the platform. I'm an evangelist. Okay. I'm not in there selling a token or something. So I probably could, but in the current environment we're in, nobody dares effect because of the viciousness attacked if they break any of these little regulations, and nobody really knows where the bright line is, and it can be enforced arbitrarily, right?
Yeah.
Big problems is that 99% of the time you're all right. But if you happen to be on the list of people that are being watched and you say something like that, then great. So I try to stay clear of any statements like that. But I object to that being something I have to do.
Well, understood. And Dolphin Oatmeal is in there coming from your perspective saying that's the wrong kind of question to ask to Chris only because of what you just said. So you just got to not ask it that way, I guess. That's the plan. It's crazy. That's the whole plan is to get it to go up. So, somebody brought up Fuzzy again, Income Mobile, ask about Fuzzy. Everybody ask about Fuzzy. I still haven't met Fuzzy. I just keep thinking of Fozzie Wazzie Bear or whatever was it Fozzie Wazzie Bear? What?
Fuzzy Wuzzy Bear? Was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? Grandpas know how to tell.
Grandpas know that, yeah. I thought I haven't heard that one in a long time. What do I do now? I really nut on him about this, or
yeah.
No, Fozzie was a Muppet.
Yeah, Fozzie Bear, yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to Fuzzy Bear, but boy, don't I know a lot of stuff, and yet I don't know anything about EOS.
Yeah.
But okay. So you should get Fuzzy on here.
Yeah.
As I said, he's got this wonderful, mellow, deep voice.
The Barry White.
And you want to know somebody who ought to be really called the Godfather of BitShares. It ought to be Fuzzy, because he's been working for 4 years now, and it's not just that, he does shows on EOS as well. So if you got EOS questions, dig into Fuzzy.
Oh, okay, great. That'll be good. Okay, we'll do that for sure. Let's see. There's all sorts. We are behind on the questions. This is good. This is good. It's fun to watch. You should pull yours up, is what you should do. Okay, let me get past some of this talk. Okay, so Let's Talk Crypto Church was last Sunday. Carlos, I guess, or maybe they're talking about your show. That was great. I hope you enjoyed it on Easter, right? I guess that's what you would be talking about there. Lost Stan. Oh, did you guys lose Stan at one point? I did not lose him. Okay. That was Dan on the phone and you cough. It's, you know what, let me get out of here because I can enjoy that for a while. That's good. I'm just trying, you guys, if you do have a question, put it in caps. That way I can find it. A lot of people put it in smaller ones and then I can't find it. So, if you took down the ones committing fraud, the banking industry would disappear overnight. It goes back to your fraud talk.
It does help to be big and powerful, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about some of the other things too here, so I'll let that go by for a little bit more. Someone had wrote, I thought this was interesting. I know you re-steamed it, so I wanted to ask you about it. Zach Covell, number 43 reputation, had said, did an article called, why is Quintric more tempting than Bitcoin as a store of value? And it was legal tender laws explained.
Okay. Well,
what did you think of that? I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. It's very helpful with guys put those things together. And, that is the thing. Bitcoin, it's interesting. It has this wonderful vision, okay, of it being the new money, but it gets its value from market dynamics, supply and demand, and so it's always going to have that volatility to it, which makes it not an ideal store of value. And because it uses mining, it's limited in how much it means it's not really a good means of transmitting value, right? So it's a good prototype that spawned the industry. We need to salute it and then say, okay, what would make a good store of value? And certainly the Quintric is one, the Quint and the whole Quintric family is one highly refined solution because it's got backing of something that gives it nice and stability in terms of value. And it's running at a pace where it can run at 3 seconds. It can trade on EOS in less than a second. And so there you got something nice and stable. And, is it completely counterparty free? No, there is a that and inspected frequently and regulated, and it has some residual risk. But when you compare that kind of risk to the risk that there's really money in in Fort Knox, or that Bitcoin won't suddenly have some big whale start dumping all the old Mt. Gox coins onto the system, or having the price suddenly changed by fear, uncertainty, and doubt caused by regulatory action. It has no counterparty, but it's still connected to things that can cause it to fluctuate wildly. We need a combination of many things, but I think for a lot of people's uses, having something that's backed by real quantifiable, deliverable gold that's been engineered to be super stable in legal currency, legal tender, is desperately needed in our industry. And I think that it won't be long before things like that, Bitcoin, and everything will trade against these assets that are nice and stable. And, that'll be a big improvement for our whole industry.
I'm looking forward to all this happening and all the big stuff happening. I'm ready to go. I'm sitting there waiting and being patient. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I can say now. Now I'm scared. What can I say? What can I say? Okay. So another person that wrote in that you had re-steamed. Again, if you guys are not on Steemit, I think Dan did a great job with bringing up the Steemit idea. I love it. And that's where you can get some of the stuff. I know Telegram is another great place to get all the information really quickly about crypto, but on Steemit, if you really want to know stuff too, go there. The articles are great. They just are. I mean, you can just get so deep into all this. So at Apasia Tech, apasia.tech, 59 reputation. I'm at 64, so I'm proud. You're at 70, by the way. Good for you. Holy cow. It takes forever to get up there. Oh my gosh. Thought I'd never get to 64. But Apasia.tech had an update on the BTS, the BitShares massive infrastructure upgrade. Can you talk about that, or is that what you were kind of talking about earlier?
No, that's something completely
It
different.
is? Oh,
something they did just as a gift to the community. What they might call an Oklahoma hello from Thailand. But yeah, they created a whole bunch of new nodes that are out there, real high quality, low latency nodes, and scattered them around, the entire planet, mostly in North America, Europe, and China. But a lot better user experience now. It's not anything to do with the that are doing the certification or the witness node, so to speak. And they can be anywhere. But our system is augmented by full nodes that your wallet can hook into, and without having to download everything. Like when I downloaded the ordinary Bitcoin wallet, it used up most of the memory on my computer, my laptop, and it took a week to download the whole blockchain and stuff it on there. And so to allow people not to have to do that, there's a light wallet, which is stores all your keys and stuff locally, but the whole blockchain itself is available on servers. That's called a full node that keeps track of everything. And that gives you a lot better utilization of your own personal resources. And up until this point, the network was getting a little boggy, not because the blockchain itself wasn't running great, but because people's access to it through these light limited in what you could get. A lot of those nodes had even gone stale or dead or long latency. So these guys came along and as a gift to the BitShares community, put up a whole bunch of new, fresh, fast nodes within easy reach at the speed of light somewhere on a continent near you.
How kind is that? Man, that's great. As much as you guys have some problems along the way with people and hacking and this and that, and people doing some of the bad things, you got a lot of people that'll do the things too.
Yes, we this whole rebirth of new excitement in our community. I can't tell you how gratifying I am. If you back up just a few ago, there was all this bitter infighting and people throwing mud and just doing very antisocial things and actually harming people and investors by making statements that weren't true that got them in trouble with the authorities. But that seems to have died down. I pray that it'll continue to die down. And this new rebirth of people working together on the thing, building new stuff, I think you're going to see a lot of new excitement as we've got an attitude adjustment in the BitShares community. I don't know where it came from, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut so I don't jinx it.
Crypto Connie Tuesdays. That's it. Anthony Brownlee. Oh, where'd it go? A whole bunch of them came in and I just lost the question. It was like Telegram, Mm-hmm. It's like being on Telegram. Let's see. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. It was asking about if Cliff High would, there it is. Is Cliff High willing to debate Stan the Man? Now, Stan is open to it. And you obviously, probably Anthony, you saw when I was talking to him, and he brought up I brought up Steemit and EOS and BitShares and all that. And he was saying it's not a blockchain. And when I brought it to your attention, you had said probably because we're not counting miners, right? So, or he's not counting miners and thinking it's a blockchain. But when he said that, I didn't have all the best income, or the feedback to throw it at him. I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get him with Stan. So I mentioned it to him. He didn't seem very happy at the time about it. He was like, kind of like, But I emailed him a couple times asking him about it. And he just wasn't interested. And it wasn't against you or against anybody. He just said he's not interested in basically unmined exchanges, I guess. I mean, to him, that's not a blockchain. So unmined blockchain. So that's
okay.
That's how he feels.
There's that school of thought. Vast majority or minority understand what a blockchain is, and their problem and still get a blockchain locked up cryptographically in a way that is secure and incorruptible. And so to say that any particular thing can only be done one way, that's only true for Christianity. Most things humans do can be done many ways.
Ooh, that led you to that perf. That was good. that was a Stanism. That was a Larimerism. That was good. But I did try, you guys. I do know later in the show he was saying that he would take on the flat earthers. But he's apparently moving right now, so we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it will pop up again.
I'm happy to have that conversation. And what it'll all come down to is what definitions we both want to use.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like we're going to decide who's right and who's wrong. It's going to be what are the characteristics that make something a blockchain.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not going to be this drag out, beat up kind of thing. It's going to be a real civilized. And I hope it gets, passionate. I'm sure it would on both sides, but it would be an intelligent conversation that everybody wants to hear. I mean, that would be, that would be it. So what can you do? I've tried and I will keep trying. We'll try in the future. Maybe at one point he might go, all right, if you'll shut up, Connie, I'll do it. I'll go, yeah.
Okay.
Now he had agreed to possibly in the future, take on the flat earthers. So when he gets done moving in and everything, maybe we'll do that. However, is that something you would take on? Mr. Work with NASA and Mars rover?
Yeah.
That'd be great. That would be fun.
Yeah.
We'll do that. That'll be on a far out Thursday, signature Thursday of Blue Rock Talk.
Yeah.
No volume. Who's not
Testing
getting volume?
1, 2, 3.
Let's see here. Turn it up over in here. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you see, but today in Kentucky, it was like 70 degrees or more. Now I'm getting sound. Let me see if you are. Hold on. Let's see. Nope, we're on there. It's like, it was like 70 something degrees today. I mean, hot. I loved it. I love it. But, a week and a half ago, we had a foot of snow. Mm-hmm. But there's these little tiny bugs flying around. So if you see me like doing this, sorry, it's like, it's like, I think we had that happen one time on one of our previous shows, Stan, and you could actually hear the bug flying around. You remember those? Those were fun. I had some little sound effects. Oh my gosh, those are the worst. Do you get those where you are?
No, actually,
those are Florida.
Pretty bug free where I'm at, but in Florida, yeah.
Yeah, Florida, that was the worst. Okay. So CRYPTO CONNIE says I can hear. Fraternal House says I'm getting sound. That's great. I love it when you guys jump in. Then I know who's there. So perfect. Susan Babudro. Stan's audio cuts out a lot. Okay. Huh. I'm hearing you fine, but I'm hearing you through Skype, and then it goes through a third party. So, all right here. Thank you guys. I want to thank all you guys for showing up, being a part of Blue Rock Talk. I'm Connie Willis, CRYPTO Connie tonight. That's Stan Larimer, the Godfather of BitShares right there. If you have not heard him on Sundays with his most favorite thing of all, then please do that. Saturday or Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's called Stan's Bible Lecture. And we got to be really cool about this. It's a college level course of Sunday school class. So when I had asked you before, what do we call it? We got to stick to the name, right? And you had said Stan's Bible Lecture. So I'm like, all right. But then sometimes you'll write Stan's Bible class, and I'm like, oh no, it's got to be one or the other. And then that's where I came up with Stan's. What did I call it? You heard me earlier. Do you remember Stan's Bitchin' Sunday? I thought that was great because, it's not a complaining. You know what I'm saying? It was hot. That was good.
Yeah. I mean, the key thing here is different people have different styles. I mean, we have 3 different Sunday school classes in our particular church, and each one is a different take on it. One is much more interactive. Everybody talks about what they think and so on, but that's kind of hard to do on the internet. Mine has always been, boy, I'd like to pack as much stuff as I can into 1 hour period of time. And I don't get down into things like how many angels can dance on the head of a pin or really bizarre stuff. No, I just get content, okay? And I try to bring it in from all over the Bible on any given topic, because most of the time people read one book and that tells a story and it makes sense by itself, but it doesn't bring in everything on the subject or put it in context. So that's what I try to do. I try to pick topics that, maybe you haven't thought about, and then go find everything in all 66 books of the Bible that's relevant and pack all of that in. And to do that, that means, basically standing up like a college professor and talking about the content. And some people don't like that. That's too intense, and that's why I use the word lecture in the thing, so you know what you're getting. If it's not what you like, then that's fine. But I think that's one of the least available things out there. So it's a niche I can fill. And, after nearly 40 years in the defense industry giving briefings all over the place on stuff, it's very natural and easy for me to do that. So that's what I offer. And if it's your cup of tea, go after it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I just want you guys to know that. I mean, you got Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, select Sundays. And right now we have a series. Say the series again. What?
Oh, things you know that just ain't so.
Yeah, and we're coming up on part 4, right?
Yep.
Okay, part 4. Are you going to be able to do it while you're in Salt Lake?
Gonna try.
Okay, because I'll be right there with you, so that'll be interesting. We should go find some place that's got a cool backdrop in Utah.
Yeah, well, you'll be doing a coast-to-coast all night long the night before, so you'll be a little groggy, but I suppose
I've done it before. Welcome to my world. I'll just keep you up. I'll be like, Stan, are you still up over there while I'm doing my show? You still listen to my show? Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. But it's anyway, it's 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, so I hope you guys go to that. So again, we have just a nice diversity here with a Bigfoot Friday and a Far Out Thursday and a Crypto Connie Tuesday, and then Wasted Wednesdays. What do you think of that? What do you think of Wasted Wednesdays?
That's where you talk about Bitcoin mining.
Well, yeah, wasted. Okay. Well, if it works, exactly. If the shoe fits, you got it. That's exact. We'll do it. So some people are having problems with audio and other people are saying it sounds great. And I'm getting it great too on everything that I have here too. So just have to keep going there. So the Bible study, Crypto Economy is on Stan's channel. It's on Blue Rock Talk. And the playlist is called Stan's Bible Lecture. It's right here on Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. So, yeah, I like that. More and more people are asking me about that. So congratulations. I know that's a big deal for you and me too. I enjoy it very much. So there was another one on here. This was at How to Save Earth. This is all on Steemit. I hope you guys get on Steemit if you're not on Steemit. And they have a 42 reputation. Yay. All right. Help. This was a one that you re-steamed. Help to launch a new BitShares Fiat USD gateway. So is there a new gateway going on? What's up?
Well, yeah. That if I'm correct about this, there's a really nice little ATM machine, two-way ATM machine. So it's an on and off ramp kind of thing, and they're looking at they already have these deployed different places. In Quentric World Headquarters out at the Vault in Salt Lake City.
All right.
That'll be a good showcase for it. But the idea is to give people new ways that they can go and get different digital currencies, not just BitShares, but a nice variety of them. And so one of the things they wanted was a little survey that would help them understand our community. And so they put out this, it's just 4 questions and a chance to put in a comment or something. But with that kind of information, if everybody jumps in and answers those questions, they'll know better about how many of these units to order and maybe where to put them or something.
I think that's cool. Finally, it's getting to where it will be easy for somebody like me and all my people, all my peeps. Make it easy. Make it easy. Okay. You're not on Steemit. Income Mobile. Why are you not on Steemit? Come on. You love to get out there. This would do it for you. And you'd make some steam or steam back dollars. And it's been going up, and BitShares has been going up. What did we get you today? Are you allowed to talk about that? Can you say what today's price was?
Oh, I can just state I don't know. 15.2. I heard it happened sometime today. We were at 15.26.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
But I don't know whether that was a high or a low. I just happened to hear that. My wife watches that religiously. So that's how I know that.
It'll kill you to do that. You can't do that. You have to put all these numbers down, not even look at it. However, you got to be careful, because I have now learned the hard way. When it gets up to certain numbers, if you know that that's an all-time high, it's never been that way, then that's a good time to maybe do something, I guess. I mean, I'm learning. Again, I wish I would have known that when Steem and Steam back dollars got up to $10, $11, and $12, that it was the highest ever, and that it was normally down around what it is now. I would have done something different. Now I'm like, no.
Yeah, I've been there. Every peak that comes along, it's like you say, well, it's never coming down, so, I've fallen for the same, trap. But
wow.
It probably is smart that if you're at an all-time high, and by the way, that's why it does come down after all-time highs, because everybody thinks that, right?
Yeah.
And that's self-fulfilling.
I guess so. But it's not all about that trading and all that kind of stuff. It's these businesses coming in. That's what I'm excited about, the stuff that you're doing. Is there any of them that are coming on that you're at a point where you can say anything?
Well, some of them will be speaking out there, and you'll be getting to see them, and we'll be recording what they say. And so at the end of that, you'll hear whatever it is they say, and then we can talk about it.
Okay. All right. So here's a question. I'm not sure how to word this exactly, and I hope it doesn't get into any muddy waters here. But I got to throw those hard balls at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Are you getting a little scared?
Connie, I think I have to go now.
When you were out there in D.C. and you were talking with the SEC folks, you were with John Gotts. And I know that has, dissipated.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have ties with the SEC guys that you got in touch with, or, anything come from that for you?
We have to be careful, because when we use the word SEC guys, that can mean different things to different people. Okay. We dealt with a law firm that deals with the SEC and contains people who have worked for the SEC, including a commissioner of the SEC, back from the Bush administration appointee. So, we have those contacts, still, and, may turn to them at some point in the future. It was a great group of people. I thoroughly enjoyed it. John and I had a great debate about that. And of course, one of the things that we were debating was the fundamental nature of what makes something a security, and the thought that for something to be an okay currency, it has to sit on its own block. And if you have something like Ethereum ERC tokens, that those somehow are automatically securities because they don't have their own blockchain. They're just tokens on something else. And that's the kind of ignorance that I try to solve. Nothing about a token is affected by the platform it sits on. In fact, platform independence is one of the main things I'm working for, the ability of a token to move effortlessly from one blockchain to another and back around the industry. That's going to be the way tokens are in the future. The only thing that makes a token something is what people promise about it. And if you promise things about your token that says in buy this token and treat it as an investment in a common enterprise with an expectation of profits. Guess what? That token became a security as soon as you started saying that. But it wasn't a security when it was first put out there, and no one said anything about it. It was a plastic poker chip. Okay. And if I go into a casino with a plastic disc and take it up to the window and try to cash it in, they'll say, no, that's not one of our tokens. We made a promise about this. Make a promise and turn something into a commodity, or I can turn it into a poker chip, or I can turn it into a security. But when it first comes out, it's nothing. It's a token that has no promises made about it. It doesn't matter whether it sits on its own blockchain or it sits on something like BitShares that has hundreds, if not thousands, of coins, or if it sits on Ethereum and it is run on a particular type of a smart contract token. It doesn't matter. It's all about what promises were made. And those are the kind of things I want to work with the authorities on to make sure they understand. And if I can get that message across that, guys, blockchain is not one thing. It's not all commodities.
Right. It's rough out there. I tell you what, the Wild West, when you guys say that, that's absolutely true. I mean, golly. And then everybody thinks they have the answer. And I am so surprised that some of the people that may not know anything about BitShares, Steemit, and EOS myself. I mean, if I know about it, why do they not know about it when they're into it? But a lot of people, they just stick with Bitcoin and that's it. I mean, is it good for them just to stay there in that world? Is it going to finally dwizzle down, or is it going to just continue to move forward? Or, you know, is it smart? To me, I think it's smart to get an all-around education of everything.
Well, I always chuckle at Bitcoin guys simultaneously ridiculing their parents for not knowing about cryptocurrencies and then ignoring second generation and third generation and now fourth generation digital currencies. You know, it's the pot calling the kettle black, right? You know, and I'm even guilty of that. There's probably something really cool out there I don't know about, like EOS, right?
It's true.
And so I sit here and say, I'm dedicated to my particular platform, which I think has plenty of left on it and can grow to take advantage of. And that's one of the neat things about BitShares. It's already gone through several up.
True.
It's running a new set of software that may not have a stick of code in it from before. Okay, that's how agile BitShares is.
And you've only just begun.
So BitShares will continue to adapt. It's like those little mammals back during the asteroid hit. They survived because they kept adapting, and the dinosaurs stuck in the star. You know, we don't need anything beyond Bitcoin. Well, we know what happened to those dinosaurs.
That's right. That's right. That kind of worked. Yeah, I got what you were saying. No, I got you. It's funny. You took me right to the tar pits and them just doing their little number there. I went over there at one point, saw some of that. So Blair Tremblay, if I said that right, Blair, I hope so, says, I see now where Dan gets his humble demeanor and libertarian ideals.
Well, we don't know for sure. Dan trained me on a lot of that stuff. So,
So what is your relationship with Dan? How is that? Did you get to see him for Easter?
No, didn't get to see him. You know, one of the things that you have, I did see him for Christmas, by the way.
That's
but you know, one of the things that you have is, you know, we all have to do the thing. Well, whose parents are you going to spend a particular meal with? You know, and sometimes, you know, you have to trade off and switch that kind of thing. This is apparently his wife's turn.
That's great. I didn't even know he's married. Has he got kids?
Yes, he's got 2.
Oh, great. So you're grandpappy.
And they also happen to be my grandchildren. So
that's right.
They're double winners.
Okay. So Is that the only child you have with grandkids?
Oh, no. I've got another one that has twice as many.
Okay. I guess I met a couple one time. You turned the computer around and I met some. That's all I remember. It's funny nowadays how you can meet people just by, oh, here, take a look, or take a look at the view, or look at my other room. It's just so cool. I love it. And it's only going to get better. So how about 3D and virtual reality on BitShares blockchain? Is that coming? Is it going to be here? There's some ideas.
Well, yeah, I can't talk about it, but I do know of at least one that has some big plans for that. They've been too busy doing the Billion Hero campaign to get on with what it is that they really want to do. But that will. I can't say anything about it other than yes, it'll have augmented reality functionality.
Okay, all right, and I know someone else on your list that has that too. So I can't wait for all that stuff. I can't wait. I'm serious. I'm like, come on. When you know some of the things that are coming on, you just, it's like, come on. Time stands still when that happens, right? It just does.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
But by the way, another shameless plug. You really can't do augmented reality, real-time interactive applications using something that has 10-minute block times.
Absolutely. Just saying. Drop the mic. Yeah, let's pick up our cool mics and drop them. Look at us. We both have the same mics. Isn't that cool? Bookends. They were bookends previously. Blair.
Heard. So this is Charles Hoskinson's mic that I have custody of.
Very nice of Charles. He didn't take care of me at that point. I was already taken care of there. But Charles, very cool. Hey, Blue Rocker for sure. This is Blair again, can Stan envision a time where Bitcoin will only have maybe 10 to 15% market share?
Yeah. In my lifetime. And I'm not that old.
Granddaddy. Okay. Gary Fries, everybody needs to upvote the always great show. Thank you, Gary. Yay, we like Gary. Crypto Economy asks, are biblical questions off topic here?
You can ask me anything, so come at me. I don't know. I suppose there are some people out there that absolutely hate it when I mix the two.
I know.
But, I talk here,
yes.
And there are no boundaries.
Blue Rock Talk. That's why I made it Earth's most interesting conversations, people, places, and things. It can be anything as long as it's interesting. If it's boring, then move on. We've got enough of that. So go ahead, Crypto Economy. What's your question that you have? I'll look at some others. Now, here's some crazy questions for you. How tall is Dan? How long have you been married, Stan? So there you go. Now you're getting what you wanted.
Boy, this is a trick question. 1977. So whenever that was, is when I got married. Dan is an inch taller than me.
What are you? Are you like 4'9", 5'1"?
Well, there was a time when I was almost 6'1".
No.
But, you shrink when you get to my age. I can barely reach 6 foot. But I think he's probably 6'1", something like that.
Crypto Economy. How many exchanges are out there built on BitShares, like Crypto Bridge and so on?
Well, I've lost track of that, and I know that there's new ones coming all over the place. So I can't answer that question. More than one, more than three, probably half dozen or more.
What about, let me ask about the Quinn tricks. Maybe when all this stuff is making a change, but I'm asked that a lot about the Quinn trick. They can't go into the exchange. They can't get the Quinn trick there. They want to get the Quinn trick in there. They don't want it to be in another wallet. They want to have everything there where they can see it in one easy way to. Well, not only is that like good and convenient for all of us to do that, but it's good for you guys if they're all together so people can start just moving them around. I mean, that's what you really want, right? You want them to be moving around, correct?
Oh, yeah. And that's always been the plan.
So that's the goal.
Yeah. So we just added the ability to purchase Quintric with BitUSD. You had a little problem is the developer there ran off and got married, and he's on his honeymoon right now. Okay. And I told him he's supposed to do that on his own time, but he's taking company time away to go do that. When he gets back, then he'll have that access.
Oh, excellent. How dare him go do something on all of our time like that? What's wrong with him?
The whole world's waiting for this. And
What's
you
his
go
name?
get married?
Yeah. What's his name? Shame him. Good for him. Congratulations to him. That's really nice. Crypto. Okay, here you go. With the biblical question here. Crypto economy. Great name that he grabbed that name, or she. I'm not sure. It's just a crypto economy. Do you believe in young earth or old earth in creation?
Both. We ought to do a whole lesson on that.
Yeah.
There is nothing that says that God isn't able to create a 14 billion year in 6 days, and that he couldn't have done it 6,000 years ago. Okay? Everybody seems to think that when I turn on a video game and I walk through this artificial reality and look at the mountains and the trees and, the castles and the dungeons and everything, that I know that came into existence in that game. And the very limited human capability to project that artificial reality did not require 14 billion years to get to where I could play the game. And there's absolutely nothing that stops God from saying, yeah, I want a universe with these particular principles, and I don't want to wait around for all that to play out. I'm interested in humans, and so I'm going to start the simulation running 6,000 years ago
Plug
with
it
the
in.
advent of modern humans, and the fact that is added for completeness does not mean that the two statements are inconsistent. You just don't have a big enough view of God.
Yeah. That's interesting. So he went on to ask, or she again, forgive me, I don't know. The creation mentioned in Genesis is thousands of years or millions of years. So that was kind of just a continuation of asking you.
Yeah, once whoever it is plugs that new concept that this is God's matrix. He probably doesn't have a big array of computers generating the matrix, but he wills it into existence, and it stays in existence only as long as he wills it to be. And if we think of this as God's simulation, then, and that God is outside of time and he's creating the entire space-time continuum, for all eternity, just as easy as I'm not.
Well, I tell you, just time in general is a topic you can talk about forever. Time. Does it all happen at once? I thought there was something in the Bible too that says that everything happens at once, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and that's that's a mixture of two different meanings of time, right? You've got at once, but that once is not in the same timeline as the time you were talking about. In God's time, eternity, all are alive to him. That means Abraham living and the time Jesus was on earth and the time he was born and everything in between is all laid out like frames on a long movie reel, right? And they're all alive to him because he's outside of time and can see it all. And we are all constrained to progress through it at 1 second per second.
Unless you learn how to remote view, and then you can check it out at any time. You would love those classes. And you know what? When people take these classes, we all can do it. The guy that taught me, Lynn Buchanan, remote viewer, he was with the Project Stargate, one of the military guys in the Army that did this. The Men Who Stare at Goats movie, if you saw that, maybe or maybe not, but he was one of these guys. And he was a minister at one point along the way, and very Christian man. And, because this is where everybody asks, oh, well, you're kind of crossing the line here, and it goes against the Bible, this, that, and this. And he's got answers for those things from that perspective, which I really like. And some of the other shows that we do here on Blue Rock Talk, when those questions come up where people throw, oh, you're not a believer in God, you're a devil worshiper when you think about those things. But actually, when any of these things we talk about on this network, it makes God bigger. It makes God bigger. It doesn't go away. You don't dismiss him. You just go, holy cow, he's bigger than I thought. Or she or whatever, I'm not getting into that politically correct stuff. But, it makes God bigger. So I think that's cool. Does BitShares have inflation, or is the token distribution locked in at 3.6 billion?
It's locked in. Now, the one little thing is that number is fixed, but about 1 billion of them are out of circulation in a reserve pool, and any of the little fees for using the network go into that reserve pool, and any of the costs paid to people that are doing work for the system, like signing blocks or whatever, get paid. So it's constantly ebbing and flowing, and the system is profitable when more is being taken out of circulation in fees than is being spent to run the network. And so it's a nice closed system that can have slowly changing numbers of coins in actual circulation. Either way, expanding or contracting.
All right, Mr. Lecturer, Sunday Lecturer. Here's another one for you. Okay. Chris Patterson, reincarnation or not?
No.
No?
Well, it depends on what you want to call reincarnation. Sure. In the Christian system, it's called resurrection. But it's not like we get back in a new body or anything like that. We do at some point in the future do get a new version 2.0 body, like the type that Jesus had when he was resurrected, a lot more capable than the one we have right now, and no longer ills that flesh is heir to, but it functions very similarly to the body that we have, better in every way.
I'd say that's better than a 2.0. It's better than a 2.0, right, at that point.
Yeah, it's like a full EOS upgrade.
Well, that's cool. Well, there's Dr. John Long, I don't know if you know him or not, and several others, but that's somebody I've interviewed a couple times. He is a doctor that is around patients that are at the end of their life with cancer, and he's seen a lot of people pass on. He's also seen a lot of people technically be gone, and then they come back. Mm-hmm. And they talk about what they see. And he's written a couple books already. And his second one, it could have been even his third one, forgive me if that's the case. Great guy, incredible to talk with. But his last one was evidence that there is a God, that God exists. And it was based on the near-death experiences. And he describes what the people see and say. And he's gotten like 3,000 to 4,000 people that he's spoken to, or different cases of coming back and having these things that they see. And what he said he saw, or what these people saw, some of them saw what we would know as hell, and some of them saw as what we would know as what we would think would be heaven, and incredible stories. And that's the same thing that when Lynn Buchanan, the remote viewer, was viewed by the military, or was tasked is the word, in military, during his military time, they were tasking him to go into the minds of people right after they died to see what they saw. And he also said he saw things that were what we would think was hell, and he saw things that we would see as heaven. So it's interesting that in different studies in different ways that people keep getting the same answers. So I guess my bigger question to you was, when someone dies, technically, where we believe and we would say dead, what determines death in our world, but then they come back and all of them say something like, oh, I was told to go back. I was told to go back. Well, would you call that resurrection or reincarnation at that point?
No, it wouldn't be either. I guess technically the Bible describes two kinds of resurrection. The resurrection that occurred to Lazarus, who was dead for 4 days. So he's long, stone cold dead.
Yes.
And it was a miracle that brought him back. But Lazarus did not get his 2.0 body. Jesus did a miracle for him and several other people that he brought back to life in their 1.0 state. He healed them of all the decay that happened and restored them to their original 1.0 body. That's fundamentally different than getting the, sometimes it's called a spiritual body, which has properties of being spiritual and also very concrete. I can eat a piece of fish like Jesus did, but he could also walk through walls at the time. So that is the true resurrection in the ultimate sense. And so restored to life versus resurrected, I would say those are two fundamentally different things. And as to what's happening and what people are seeing in that's a mystery to me too. Maybe they're seeing into the next world.
It's cool.
Or maybe it's just dreams, as Shakespeare says, and who knows what dreams shuffled off this mortal coil. And so, it may be something like that. Hard to say.
Yeah. Well, some of the proof of that is they actually put things up on, they specifically do in these rooms where it might be like a file cabinet and they'll put a giant X or some sort of signal or sign or something that the only way anybody could ever know is they go up and they're looking down. And they always they'll remark about that. Oh, what did you see? Oh, I saw myself laying there and I saw everybody around and I saw this person, that person, this person. Some of those things you could not know, but also they would say there's a big X over here. They would actually say what they saw. It's real interesting stuff. And when you get a little deeper in this kind of conversation, and many of them that we talk about here, again, you don't always find everything in it in the Bible. But you might find something connecting to it, and then you might find something really major connected to it. But either way, it always makes God bigger. It's just like, wow, we don't give them enough credit.
Yeah, there have been a couple comments in the Bible on that subject. Paul wrote, "To be apart from the flesh is to be with Christ." Okay, so it's like instantaneous. And then the angel Gabriel said to Daniel, "You will sleep and arise to see your reward at the last day." Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So how can both of those be true? Well, remember we talked about this film strip and God outside of time. If the instant you die, you can think of you're outside of time and reinserted into the Earth's timeline at the last day in the general resurrection. And so there may be no sense of time during the thousands of years that Daniel has been dead, okay? And yet to him, it would appear like an instantaneous transition to the last day. So that's sort of my theory, but that's contradicted by other things that would be described. For example, the story of Lazarus and the rich man. And that's a story where Jesus is telling what appears to be a realistic description of what things are like. And so this poor man, this beggar, dies and goes to Abraham. That is, I assume it's
say what?
Whether it's the heaven or an intermediate place is not told to us. But from there, he had a conversation with Father Abraham that was saying, "Let me go back and warn my brothers and sisters," or my brothers, I guess. And he was told, "No, there's a big gulf. You can't go back." And they've got enough information that they should, and they wouldn't believe even if someone rose from the dead. And that implies that in parallel with what's going on in the world after you die is happening in parallel, not teleported to the end of time. So I can make both arguments, and I'm still trying to sort all that out. Some mysteries will have to remain mysteries.
Hey, that's going to be for a long time. Exactly. We'll know all the answers the day we cross over, and you'll know them so quickly and instantly that you won't even think to ask them because you already know it, and you don't care.
Yeah,
it's kind of the human thing not to. Let's see. Does son Dan remain active with Virginia Tech's Computer Science Department? Alumni at all?
I know of several instances where he has interacted with them, and a donor to the Virginia every Thursday night. So I may have more interaction with Virginia Techies than he does at this point.
Okay, all right. So here's a moral question from Brad Mulder. Okay. So there's he wrote two things. So basically, okay, if you are a Mason and you're told, keep these things quiet, is it okay to tell your wife?
Well, I am not a Mason, and
there's probably a reason why.
Yeah, and I'm not going. Yeah, I'm not going to go into there, but my understanding is that no, they're not allowed to tell their wives what they know, but that whole Mason thing changes its character from at the entry level to at the highest levels, and you are led slowly but surely into error as you climb that ladder. So I would not suggest climbing that ladder. It's a funnel that leads you where you don't want to go.
And would be keeping secrets from your wife be one of them?
Well, she says, does this dress make me look fat? What are you going to do with a question like that?
Well, okay, I understand that one. Yeah, that's I was having a discussion not long ago with someone where they, I know that if I tell one person in a marriage, pretty much the other one's going to know too. So if I ever say, hey, listen, don't say anything, I pretty much know the spouse is going to be told it too. And I got to always keep that in my mind that they're going to know too. Or otherwise don't say it, I guess. But that's pretty much it. And a lot of married people I know, they say, hey, if you're telling me, you're telling her, or if you're telling me, you're telling him. So I agree with that. I think that keeps a good marriage. I mean, it's not like, sometimes you would be, well, I don't care, but thank you, honey, for letting me know. Appreciate it. Because then you stay together as that one, that trust builds and continues. If there's secrets, you start falling apart,
And that's another reason why you probably don't want to get involved in organizations that are structured to gradually reveal knowledge to you over time. That's a very dangerous, slippery slope. And so whatever.
So Crypto Economy says Masons don't even know what they know until they get to 33rd degree or something like that. So I'm curious about the Masons. I know there's a lot of history, and it's some pretty powerful things and scary things. I've kind of heard it all, but what basically is it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
I stay away from it because of the bad things I've heard about it, but I'm not well versed, and I don't want to slander an organization that a lot of people, including some of my own ancestors, have been a part of. What I've read horrified me. I don't know if it's all true, but I don't like cult-like organizations. Okay, I don't like organizations that have secret knowledge that's revealed gradually as you pass certain ways. That is not something I want to be involved in. It's too easy for you to get led along. And the seductive thing about it is that as you increase in rank, you have more and more pride in how high you've climbed. And now that pride may cause you to say, well, I'm going to accept one more thing I don't think I would have accepted. And you move to the next level. And you're gradually led from where you were to where you don't want to be. So anything like that is, to me, not a good idea. It ought to be wide open, transparent. This is what we're about. And the entry-level person can know the same as the people at the top of the pyramid. Anything else is something that can be used and misused in ways that I don't think are good.
Do you think you should keep things from your spouse?
No, I don't think that's a good idea either. I mean, there are things I have to do. I've had security clearances, and those are very specifically with your spouse, and most spouses understand that.
But it's different from the Masons.
Well, I suppose what we've just done is come up with a couple examples of things that where maybe you do keep it from your spouse because you're required to. Certainly for national security, that would be something that I would recognize. But you admit that to your spouse. I have this clearance. I can't tell you what I did today. I can't even tell you where I went today. So okay, but that's different from the general discussion of organizations that gradually let you know what you've gotten into. I think people ought to know what they're getting into when they walk in the door.
Yeah. Man, what do they do? What do they do? What do they do?
Never set foot inside one I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. We, a long time ago, I did a show. I was putting together a pilot called Ghost House, and it was this old farm home in Florida that it used to be all orange groves. And Sarasota was basically built around it. And it's still there in downtown Sarasota, but it's this old home, and it was always haunted. These families talked about the haunting of it. So I got in there to do this pilot, Ghost House. And there was this real interesting mantle. It's old home. The mantle, though, on the fireplace had chiseled out all sorts of things. They believed that was a spot where Masons came and hung out and did whatever they did there. And they think that could have been part of why the house had a lot of negative energy in it, too. So was that sound about right with I mean, see, I thought some people believe they're really, really good. Some people think they're really, really bad. So
it's possible that you transition from one to the other while you're a member. Think about that.
Okay. When you get to the 33rd level or whatever they're talking about here. Freemasonry is of the devil. Good luck with all that. Agreed. People are saying agreed. Yikes. Okay, Freemasons. Let's see. So someone had said, hey, this is great. God and crypto. And that is what Stan Larimer is all about. Well, listen, we've been here on for a couple hours. Thank you guys for joining us and asking all the questions that you did in live chat. We really appreciate that. If there's one more to throw back out real quick, that's fine. But I think we're pretty good I think we're pretty good. Thanks, you guys. I think that's pretty good. I think we'll stop there at that point. Okay.
Well,
thanks,
very
Dan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting show tonight. Lots of unexpected content.
Yeah. Well, will we talk to you before next Tuesday? Actually, we can do Tuesday from there.
Depending on what time the plane lands, we ought to be there. That'd be about 8:00 Mountain Time. We'll see where we're at that, but we ought to try.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, so Stan is heading to Equity ICO conference. You call it the
.io.
So you even when you say the conference, you still say .io. Or is this
only so people can find out.
Okay, all right. And the link is down below for you too. So we'll see you out at Equity ICO .io in Salt Lake City. It's actually away from Salt Lake City, though. It's a little far away, a little bit.
Yeah, up near the Park City Ski Resort.
That's going to be cool. Have you seen the crater yet? Do you know anything about the crater that's close by there?
No, I've been there once, but I didn't get a chance to go sightseeing.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. It's where it's like 90-degree water and everything. You can swim in it, and it's, that crater.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool thing. Have to see about getting over there and doing some neat little break over there or something. It's like people going there. Some people think for healing, they get some healing on their bodies, and because it's 90-degree water, I think, at all times, and big area. You can snorkel and scuba dive in. It's really cool, and it's enclosed kind of. There's just a hole above. It's really cool. It's really cool. So maybe we'll get to see that out there. I'm going to try. This is Stan Larimer. Thanks, Stan. Any last words before you head out?
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Okay. And give us that. Ta-da.
How to do that, yeah.
All right. There we
go. Live
go.
long and prosper. Okay.
That's right. That's Stan Larimer, everybody, the Godfather of BitShares, with us tonight talking crypto, BitShares, EOS, his family, Masons, and God. And don't forget that his show is called Stan's Bible Lecture. It's Sundays, select Sundays. We have a series going right now, and it's at 1 p.m. Eastern live here on Blue Rock Talk. You can see the playlist called Stan's Bible Lecture. As well, don't forget that on Thursdays we have Far Out Thursday, our signature Thursday, where we can talk about pretty much anything that's on this blue rock that's interesting, right? It's Earth's most interesting conversations. That's what Blue Rock Talk is all about. We also have Crypto Connie Tuesday as tonight, and possibly Wasted Wednesdays coming up. I love that. I love how anything wasted, that works. And then we have Bigfoot Friday as well. So a lot of fun, and I want to thank the people that showed up last week. We had a great time with Jerry Wills, and it's just been a lot of really good people that we've been having on here, and I hope that you guys enjoy it too. If you like tonight's show, please hit that like button. I would appreciate that. And please subscribe and share this as well with others. Let's grow. We're over 5,000, and we're heading for 10. So I hope that you guys will help me to make this show bigger and bigger. Okay, so that's it. Until we meet again, which will be soon. What is soon? It'll be soon. Tomorrow night I'm actually on a show. Let me just find that real quick for you. I'm going to be on someone's show, and I hope that you guys can come and listen to that. Let's see, tomorrow night, let me find this. I'm going to get interviewed myself. Sometimes that happens along the way. And then I always like to have fun and kind of twist it around on them during their show, and they don't even realize it. At one point, I'm interviewing them again. So that's going to be Greg Bacon. And let's see, where would we find Greg's show? Really good guy. He has some incredible stories. He is the investigator founder at Minnesota Ghost Box. So if you go find him, at least on Facebook, you're going to find out where his show is. Let's see, Wednesday live, KCOR Digital Radio Network. He's going to be talking to me out there, Ghost Box Radio. That'll be tomorrow night at, I think it's 9 Eastern. So be sure and watch that too. I want to try to always help you guys as well. So there we go. That'll be a fun night for sure. All right, everybody. I hope to see some of you out in Salt Lake City with us. That's going to be fun. If you miss it, don't worry. I'm going to try to bring it to you as best I can here on Blue Rock Talk. From now until then, we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that you were here tonight.